Hello team, I hope you're all well. Today is Monday, it's the start of a new weekly vlog, and this week we have the final book support group. Again, it's round 14 and it is the second to last round for 2024. I said that in the announcement video, and a few people were concerned that I was saying it was the final, it's going to be like the second to last ever final round of final book support group. I was like, no, just for 2024. We'll have one more round in November for 2024, and then it will be, you know, next year, 2025. We will carry on. Don't panic. We're still going. Final book support group. If you don't know what final book support group is, it is a support group that I set up, God, it's got to be a couple of years ago now, in which we support each other to finish series, whether that be continuing on with series that we're partway through and has many a book in it and we're, you know, that not that far in, so continuation station, or whether it is just to wrap those series up and finish final books. I have a terrible habit, especially with duologies. Duologies are my worst. I don't know what it is about them. I don't know why I struggle so hard, but I have a terrible habit of starting series and not finishing them. So I, with the help of the community, came up with the final book support group, and honestly the whole thing just runs itself. I just end up being the face of it because every other month we do readathons. So we do the readathons to kind of dedicate a certain amount of time to this, because if we were just left to our own devices, nothing would change. We would just have this support group to chat about books. But the dedication time that we get, whether it be like a 48-hour readathon or a week-long readathon, we have done a month before now. I will probably never do that again, because a month for me now for a readathon is just too long personally, unless I'm just like dipping in and out. But for me to host, I can't do it anymore. Sorry. A week is like my limit these days, so my apologies for that. But that is essentially what's going on here. So this week I actually don't have, I do have some that are final books, but the majority are continuation stations here, so we're going to see how this goes. But I do have a little bit of a TBR here to show you, and then I've got a poll that's currently underway at the moment. So this is my little bit of a TBR. Now I know it looks mammoth, but it's not as bad as it seems, because I do have 4 volumes of Blue Flag here, which won't take me long to get through at all, and I can use to break up some of these bigger books. So I've got volumes 5, 6, 7 and 8 of Blue Flag, which will wrap a series up for me because this is the final volume. Success! Final book support group. Then I do have Shadowgast by Thomas Taylor, which is book 3 in the Aerion Sea series. Yes, it is. I really need to continue on with this series. I've got them all. I think we might be at the end of the series. I'm not sure. I've got Festagrim, and then I can't remember what the 5th one is called. Mermedusa, and I think that's the end of the series. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain that that's the end of the series, so I need to continue on with this because I haven't done so. Then we've got A Murderous Relation by Deanna Rayborn, which is book 4 in the Veronica Speedwell series. If you've been here for a little while, you will know the debacle I've been having with this series, but I read the first one back in April in a Katie Colson taste test and absolutely loved it. And I had it on audiobook. I had access to a friend's US Audible, and she had the first book. So I listened to the audiobook, obsessed, absolutely obsessed, perfection. Katie knows what she's talking about. If you don't know who Katie Colson is, you really should, but I'll leave a link to her in the description box down below. Go and check her out. And I wanted to continue on with the series immediately, so I bought pretty much most of the rest of the books. The rest of them were sent to me. Was this one sent to me? Yes, it was. Oh no, did I buy this one or was someone send it to me? I can't remember whether it was gifted or not. Regardless, I wanted to continue, and then I suddenly realised that we can't get the audiobooks in the UK except for book 6 onwards. So book 6, 7, 8 and 9 we can get in the UK, but books 1 to 5 we cannot. And it's the most obscene thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't know why the US publishers are gatekeeping these audiobooks, but whatever. I went through a whole debacle about trying to get hold of them. Somebody told me that they were available on the Plus catalogue in the US, so my friend then downloaded them, but they didn't show up on my app. So then I logged out, tried to log back in, couldn't remember the password and everything, and then my friend's sister was having a baby. She had some family stuff going on and I didn't want to interrupt, so I left it. And then I tried finding the audiobooks another way. So I tried one other way, and then I tried getting a library card in the US, and I just couldn't get them. And as a couple of months went by, and then I managed to get hold of the login details again from my friend's Audible, and they were there. Thank the Lord, they were there. So that's the whole debacle. You're now caught up. Welcome. And I'm up to book 5, so I want to try and get through this before Audible Plus snatch the books away, and then I can slow down with this series a little bit now. So I'm really loving this series so far. I'm excited to continue, so I would like to get to this one as well. That was really long, sorry. I've got Reckless by Lauren Roberts. If you just watched my 24-hour time challenge and you're coming here from there, hello. You will have seen that I've just read Powerful, which is the novella between Powerless and Reckless, and I want to continue on with the series. Fearless doesn't come out till next year. This one will be great. And then obviously Climbing the Cornfield 3, The Church of Friendo. Again, if you've come from that 24-hour timer challenge video, you will know what's going on here. I ditched what I was doing in that video to read all of this series, reread the first 2 books, and then this one just came out, and then I got through the first 2 books on my reread and couldn't carry on, because there's a reason why I don't read series back to back. So I told you that this will be the first book I will be picking up for this video, and it is going to be the first book. This book follows Quinn Maybrook, and in the first book she and her dad moved to this new town. It's a quiet town, it's got loads of cornfields in it, it's very quiet and quaint, and they have this mascot which is a clown called Friendo. And in this town, the adults in the town blame the kids for the fact that the town just seems to be going to shit a little bit, and they're just blaming the kids all the time. And then out of nowhere this massacre starts to happen, where a clown that they're calling Friendo, because it's the Friendo clown mask, is going around killing people, mostly kids, and that's what's happening. And it's just continuing on. Think Scream, Halloween, think along those lines. That's where you'll be, and I'm very excited to have another sequel in my hands, one that I haven't read yet, and for the fact that I've taken a little break and read 2 more books in between book 2 and now book 3, so I can continue on with this one. I'm excited to do so. It's going to be the first book that I pick up for this readathon, because I promised that's what I would do in my last vlog. And then I've done a poll. This is can somebody tell me how to introduce a video quickly? Is it that you don't go through your TBR? Maybe that's the thing. Anyway, then I've done a poll. I will put the graphic on the screen here, very quickly talk you through exactly what's going on here. So we do have The World We Make by N.K. Jemisin, which is the second book to this series. The first one being The City We Became, and I loved The City We Became. It is a duology. This would wrap up the series. Then we've got The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore, which is the second one in that series, with the third one coming out in November, and I have an arc for the third one. So the sooner I get to Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, the sooner I can get to the Christmas one in this series as well. So I'd love to get to that one. Then we've got Mislaid in Parts Half Known by Shauna Maguire, which is the 8th book, 9th book, whatever it is, in the Wayward Children series. There is another one coming out early on next year, so this would just get me up to date with that series. Then we've got Soul of a Witch by Harley LaRue, which would wrap up the Souls trilogy, and I would really like to get to this one. I would really like to get to all of these, honestly, but I would like to wrap this series up. If I don't do it now, I will do it before the end of the year. That is my aim. And then finally we've got Shadowlands by Stacey Marie Brown. Honestly, Shadowlands, this has been on my TBR for a while. Again, it would wrap the series up, but Shadowlands by Stacey Marie Brown and Kate by Tate James, those 2 books have been on my final book support group TBR way too many times now, and I think I'm at a point where I don't really care to finish them, and this is the problem I have with final books. So this is why I ended up doing this, but I'm kind of like, I think somebody kind of needs to just force me to finish them at this point, and I've just kind of lost my way with them a little bit. I've let it go on too long, and now I don't care to finish them, and I should just wrap them up and be done with it. So I don't know, we'll see what happens with that. I don't have a result yet because I only posted the poll earlier on in the Discord, so I'm going to give it a few more hours and I will come back to you and let you know. But I wanted to just show you the graphic here. Maybe I won't like actually come back on and go through the results with you, or maybe I will, I don't know, but I may just end up showing you the book and which one it's going to be. So I'm going to go, because I've got some other bits that I need to do. I need to finish off wrapping up editing the 24-hour vlog. I need to start a couple of other videos because I'm currently filming 3 videos, this one and 2 other vlogs in the background, because apparently I love to torture myself. So I need to go and sort those things out, and then I can get started with Clan and Cornfield 3. I do have sprint starting at 9 o'clock. It is currently 25 to 8, so I've got a little bit of time to get some other bits done. But I've got sprint starting at 9 o'clock till about 1ish, and then the Virgin Media, I've got a Virgin Media engineer coming between 1 and 6 to install the new internet. So I'm shutting sprints down for around 1ish, and I will then go downstairs and focus on reading from that point onwards. So if I don't get much read between now and 1 o'clock, I'm not too mad about it because I can focus the rest of the day on reading. So I am prioritizing filming and editing, I think, first, and then I'll get into reading. So yeah, this will be the first book that I'm going to get to. Before we continue on with this week's vlog, I did just want to thank the sponsor of today's video, who are Serious Readers. I have been using my lamp now for a good couple of months, and I absolutely love it. It's absolutely fantastic. They have a range which consists of the high definition light, the Alex light and the classic light, and these are the only lights that feature the daylight wavelength technology that Serious lights do. This does replicate the daylight spectrum as closely as technically possible, which is fantastic for someone like me who does struggle with migraines, and it really does help me out with eye strain as well. So if you're interested in getting yourself one of these lights, I would definitely recommend. I do have a code for you, which is Steph24. This code does offer £100 off high definition lights and free UK delivery. So both of the code and the link will be in the description box down below if you wanted to check them out. But thank you so much to Serious Readers for sponsoring this video. I truly appreciate it. Okay, hello. It is about 9 o'clock, 5 to 9 on Tuesday morning, and I'm here with an update for you. I didn't update you again yesterday. I was just trying to get on with the day. I had the Virgin Media engineer come round, and it was quite late on in the day when he came round, and I was knackered by the time he was done. And I felt really unwell in the evening, so I was in bed for like 9:30. In fact, both of us were. He played on his Switch for a little bit, and then we both went to sleep then. So yeah, it was a strange evening, an early one, that's for sure. So I got up with him this morning. I really didn't want to. I honestly just kind of wanted to stay in bed, but I got up regardless because I didn't want to waste any of the day, to be perfectly honest. So it's now almost 9 o'clock, and I have finished my first book, and that is Clan in a Cornfield 3, The Church of Frendo by Adam Caesar. I reread the first 2 of these last week in the 24-hour time challenge that I did. I'll leave a link to it up here. If you haven't seen it yet, I would recommend. I read these originally in 2022. I read them back to back because I absolutely loved the first one, and I wasn't anticipating doing so. I actually hate clowns. I'm terrified of them, so I wasn't anticipating enjoying them as much, but I loved them. They gave me the vibes of Scream and Halloween, the slasher vibes, which is what I'm always looking for in horror books. And I really, really enjoyed them. Gave them 4.5 stars the first time I read them, and then last week when I reread them, I gave them 5 stars because honestly, I've never been able to stop thinking about them, and I'm constantly asking for recommendations based on those books. So, loved them. Was highly anticipating this, was expecting it to be 5 stars, and have been sorely disappointed, unfortunately. I'm gutted, absolutely gutted. I love the original characters. I adore Quinn, but I also love Rust and Cole. I even enjoy Quinn's dad and his part that he plays. I loved the vibes of Kettle Springs, which is where the first 2 books are based. And I just loved the whole vibe of it, the whole plot of the story, and the reason why what's going on is going on. Now, this flips that entirely on its head. We're not in Kettle Springs anymore. Rust, Cole and Quinn's dad are barely in this at all. They're mentioned very briefly at the beginning, very briefly at the end, and that is it. They're not in here otherwise. We follow Quinn and only Quinn, and we have a whole new cast of characters set in a whole new place. We're following a new POV, Tabitha, who is watching her entire community kind of go up in flames, if you like, with this cult. And it's all become a bit of a cult, hence the Church of Frendo. So obviously with the massacre of the original first 2 books, Frendo has become a little bit like, let's say, the Ghostface mask, for example. Very popular at Halloween. However, this is obviously taken to a new level. It becomes an entire cult based off of Frendo. And it's just, I don't know. Quinn kind of becomes this vigilante to hunt down all the people that started this in the first place. And oh, I don't know, it just didn't have the same vibes, it didn't have the same atmosphere. We weren't in Kettle Springs, it wasn't this small town, close-knit community anymore. It wasn't the terror of that small town, close-knit community. Don't get me wrong, this was still really gory, it's still really gritty and slasher vibes. It was still, I had a good time, it was fine. It just, I gave it 3 stars. 3.5 stars on Cornfield, 3 stars. It lost the magic of the atmosphere and the original characters for me. It just didn't do it the way that the first 2 did it for me. Will I continue to read these? Yes. If Adam comes out with them, I will read them. Do I hope he might go back to his original roots of the first 2 books? Yes. This is a little bit like, this is what I've put in my review on Goodreads. It's a little bit like when they take a movie franchise and they do a movie that's got no, for example, Halloween 3, that adds nothing to the franchise and has almost no association with the franchise whatsoever other than the title of the movie. So if that movie had been given a different title, I mean, in general, Halloween 3 is a shit film. For example, Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Let's say that one. I know there was behind the scenes, there was a huge uproar about it anyway, but on the basis that that's got Fast and Furious in the title, it annoys me. In general, that movie's pretty good and I don't mind it. Had it just been called Hobbs and Shaw or given an entirely different title with completely different character names, but everyone who's in it added nothing of value to the Fast and Furious franchise, so why was it associated to it? Do you know what I mean? The Halloween movie in general, like Halloween 3, it didn't even have Michael Myers in it, so it adds fuck all to the Halloween franchise. It's a little bit like that. This adds nothing to the Clown in the Cornfield franchise, if that's what you want to call it. I mean, it's got several in the series now, so it is a franchise. It adds nothing to the franchise, but it's got Clown in the Cornfield on the cover. Had this been called something else and Quinn not been called Quinn and it didn't have a relation back to Frendo in general, I probably would have enjoyed this. A cult that dresses up and goes around killing people and murdering people for no good real reason other than the fact that their lives don't align with the cult, and then a vigilante coming in and saving everyone. Great, sign me up, would have been perfect. But I've gone into it expecting the small town vibes of Kettle Springs and the original characters with Quinn and Rust and Cole and her dad. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I've not got that. I've just got Quinn on a road trip, on the run, becoming somewhat of a vigilante. And I don't know, it was good. I gave it 3.5 stars. Just it wasn't what I was anticipating. So anyway, I've read it. It's a really long review. I'm just disappointed, but it is what it is. I've gone on to A Murderous Relation by Deanna Raybourn, and I have started this one now, so I'm 54 pages in, and I reckon I can get through this today. I have been wanting to get through this one a little bit quicker for a number of reasons. So I'm actually wanting to reread Stalking Jack the Ripper by Kerry Maniscalco, and I'm 100% aware that I should not be reading that book and these books side by side at all. So what I want to do is get through this book so that I'm through the Audible Plus on the US Audible. because this is the last one that I have on there on my friend's Audible from the US, because I can't get them in the UK. And then I can get 6, 7, 8 and 9 in the UK, the audiobooks, so I can get to them as and when I want to, without worrying that they're going to snatch the books away from me from Audible Plus catalogue. So I want to try and get through this one, and then I'll take a break probably from Veronica Speedwell's series and reread Stalking Jack the Ripper. I'm also doing it for a specific video as well, so it's something I need to get to sooner rather than later. So I wanted to prioritise this one so that I can have a little bit of a break before I pick up Stalking Jack the Ripper. Ironically enough, we're at a point in this timeline now where Jack the Ripper is going feral, and it's in the newspaper, so it's mentioned a lot in here, and I was like, what are the chances? Pretty high based on the facts that we're in the same timeline. But yeah, so this one does follow Stoker and Veronica Speedwell. In the first one, Veronica Speedwell, she is a leptometrist. I'm really trying to learn that word, and I'm gonna have to, I wondered what that noise was. It's a dog barking outside. I'm gonna have to make sure that I'm pronouncing it properly, but she's a leptometrist who works with butterflies, collects butterflies and stuff. And Stoker is a man that kind of curates things for museums and stuff. He stuffs animals and things like that. I don't know what his job title is, but that's what he does. Anyway, in the first book, Veronica is on her way home from a meeting with some people. She lives a very unconventional life for the time that this is. It's the late 1800s, where women tend to be just wives and mothers, and the husband is, you know, the man of the house and everything. He makes the money, and there is none of this, you know, she can do what she wants with her time. She can see who she wants with her time. If she wants to sleep around, she can do. If she wants a job, she can do. There's none of that. So she's looked down upon a lot by people because she doesn't want to get married. She doesn't want to have children. She doesn't mind children. She just doesn't want them. And she obviously goes traveling the world. And when she's doing this with her butterfly work, she, you know, she might have the odd dabble with a man or whatever. So, you know, she lives quite an unconventional life for this time, and some people don't like it. Now, when she's on her way home one evening, she notices that someone has broken into her house and someone tries to kidnap her, and then this man saves her in this moment. He then takes her away, drops her off with Stoker and says, listen, I need to talk to you about your family. There's something going on, and I got to talk to you about, you know, your roots and where you've come from and all of this lot, but there's somewhere I need to be right now, and I will be back. Stoker, can you keep an eye on her? And he's like, absolutely fucking not. And she's like, listen, I'll be back in a couple of days, just keep an eye on her, blah blah blah. These two end up arguing like an old married couple from day one. That man ends up dead, and she doesn't find out what he's got to tell her, so they go on this mission to find out exactly what it is that he needed to tell her. And from that day forth, we are now in a position where they find themselves on these different little mysteries, but also with growing feelings for each other. Somebody asked me if this was fantasy. It is not. It is historical fiction, mystery with a sprinkle of romance, and I'm obsessed. So, having a great time so far. I think in this one we're going to have a situation. In fact, I can't tell you what happens in this one because it's got something to do with the information she found out in the first book about her family. So I can't tell you too much about it. In the background, the Jack the Ripper case is going on, so I don't know if it's going to be played into that as well. I'm not sure. Oh, interesting. If you read the synopsis, if you want to know what this is about, you can read the synopsis and spoil yourself. Go ahead, but I'm not going to do it for you. So yeah, they're off on another little mission with their feelings kind of laid out on the table at this point as well, which is very exciting news. So I'm stoked. So yeah, I'm going to carry on with this one, I think, for the day. I anticipate that I will probably finish this and maybe start something else as well. We'll see. I am also trying to get through 2 other books in the background of doing this vlog as well. At the same time, I'm currently doing, I think I mentioned this yesterday, but currently doing 3 vlogs at the same time. Way to go. So yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go and get on with this. I need to have some breakfast. I am on the fence about scheduling some sprints with my patrons. I feel a little bit out of sorts today. I don't know if it's because I wasn't well last night. I didn't 100% sleep too well, even though I had an early night. I think this is the other thing as well. Sometimes I don't sleep properly to a point where I might be running on like 3 hours sleep, but on the flip side, if I sleep too much, my body will punish me like hell for it the next day, and I just can't seem to win or find a middle ground where my body's like, you know what, we like this, 6 hours, perfect. I just can't seem to find a middle ground. If I get 8 hours of sleep, my body will punish me. Some days if I get 10 hours of sleep, I'm fine, I'm right as rain. If I'm on 3 hours of sleep, obviously my body's punishing me, it's not rested enough, and I just can't seem to win. No matter what I do, if I sleep, I'm punished. If I don't sleep, I'm punished. And I wish my body would just tell me what it wants me to do. So I do feel a little bit out of sorts today, like maybe later on this afternoon I might want a nap. And obviously if I'm on sprints, that's not something that I can easily do. So I don't know what to do. I kind of want to do some sprints, but I kind of feel a bit weird and out of sorts. So I'm just not sure what to do with myself. So I may do some, we'll see how I feel. I may also just sit with the audiobook on and play some lemon cake all day, which is essentially what I did yesterday with Clown and Cornfield 3. But I'm gonna go and I'll check back in with you and have another update for you. Also, do you like my new clock? I'm obsessed. We got it from The Range and I love it. Shout out to Andy's mum for getting us this. We appreciate you. All right, I'm gonna go. Okay, hello, good morning. It is Friday. I haven't spoke to you in a couple of days. Wednesday, I was at work and it was Thomas's first day of school. He had a great first day. And then yesterday, it was my brother's birthday. So I was at my brother's yesterday and we did takeaway for tea and it was a really good day. So I haven't spoke to you for a couple of days, but I have been doing some reading. So I thought while I get ready to film a video, I could come on and chat to you about the book that I've finished and what I'm going to pick up next. So I did finish A Murderous Relation by Deanna Rayborn, which is book 5 in the Veronica Speedwell series. I'll leave a thing up on the screen for it because I can't hold that and do my hair at the same time. It does not work. It has not enough hands. So I finished it and I really enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed this installment as much as I have the previous books though. So it's gotten 4.5 stars on Cornfield. I have given it 5 stars on Goodreads because I did still really have a good time. Like I loved my time with Veronica and Stoker. I enjoyed, you know, the banter and the back and forth as usual. I enjoyed the atmosphere. I think in this one it was stepped up a little bit because we are in a time period where Jack the Ripper is at large. So, and I always love to read books within that time period. I did enjoy that factor. I will say though, I feel like the plot of this one I wasn't as interested in, like the storyline that we had. I felt like I wasn't as bothered about. I was way more interested in the atmosphere of the period of time that we were in, and although it came into play a little bit, the stalking Jack the Ripper side of things a little bit more, and also just spending time with Veronica and Stoker as well. As opposed to the actual plot and what was going on with that. So I wasn't as invested in that one this time round. It is what it is. We have had some developments, some more developments in the relationship between Veronica and Stoker, and I love that for them. I am nervous about continuing on from this point onwards though, that it just won't be as good between them now because things have moved on a little bit. So I am interested in seeing how that goes for the rest of the series. But yeah, I did give it 4.5 stars, 5 on Goodreads, 4.5 on Cornfield. It was a high 4.5 star, so you know, if we did more than halves, it was probably more like a 4.7, 4.8. So I rounded up on Cornfield rather than rounded down to a 4. So yeah, I do tend to take note of that, by the way, if anybody was interested. If it comes out as like a half star on Cornfield, I will have a quick look at the cheat sheet, see whereabouts within that half, like within that range it is, and then I will rate on Goodreads based on that. So yeah, I did finish that one off. And I'm going to go on to the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore, which is the second one in the Dream Harbour series, the first one being Pumpkin Spice Cafe. And I'm really excited because I've got an arc of the third one as well, which is a Christmas one, the Christmas Tree Farm or something. So I'm really looking forward to that one. We are following what's happening here. When a secret message turns up in a hidden book in the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore, Hazel can't understand it. As more secret codes appear between the pages, she decides to follow the trail of clues. She just needs someone to help her out. Gorgeous and outgoing fisherman Noah is always up for an adventure and a scavenger hunt. Sounds like a lot of fun. Even better that the cute bookseller he's been crushing on for months is the one who wants his help. Hazel didn't go looking for romance, but as the treasure hunt leads her and Noah around Dream Harbour, their undeniable chemistry might be just as hot as the fresh out the oven cinnamon buns in the bookstore sells. Sign me up. A bookstore, all the vibes of fall with the cinnamon. Not that I'm a huge fan of cinnamon buns, but all the vibes of fall for sure. A fisherman, and he falls first clearly because he's super into her, and also like a little bit of a scavenger hunt going on. Sign me up. It sounds great. I'm really excited to move on to this one because I really did love Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I think I got an arc of that one last year as well. So I really did love that one. So I'm excited to move on to this one, and I feel like it'll be a good one to move on to as well. This weekend I am going to be hosting some sprints with Jade. We're going to do some Patreon ones on Saturday, I think, and then some public ones on Sunday for Final Book Support Group. I just want to mix things up a little bit this weekend, but she is doing a 24-hour readathon. She's going to do the timer challenge and give that a bash. I don't know if she's done it before, so I'm excited for her to give it a bash. And I've decided that I'm going to join in, but I'm going to do mine a little bit more low-key than I normally do, so I'm obviously not doing a full dedicated video. I'm just doing it to focus on some reading this weekend and help me stay focused. But I'm not going to be stopping the timer every time I'm not reading. I am literally going to do it over the 2 days. 12 hours one day, 12 hours the next day. Just start the timer in the morning and let it run until the evening. And I'm actually going to film a video for TikTok for it instead and do it that way around. So I'm hoping to get loads of reading done this weekend. I do still have obviously the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore on my TBR, Reckless by Lauren Roberts and Shadow Gas by Thomas Taylor, and also the volumes of Blue Flag that I have. I haven't touched any of those yet, so we'll see how much of that I can get through, whether or not I end up switching some stuff up and adding some other stuff in. We'll see what happens, but I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good weekend with lots of reading with my bestie. The only thing that could make it better is that she were here in person. But alas, that is not the case. So I'm very excited to spend a lot of time with her this weekend, hanging out, getting loads of reading done. It'll be a good time, I think. So yeah, I'm excited. So I'm gonna go because I'm actually gonna film a video. Andy's nipped out to go to the supermarket. He wanted to go and do the food shop on his own. So I was like, well, that's absolutely fine by me. You knock yourself out, babe. So he's gone out to do that. And I am going to get a video filmed, I think. Maybe do some spooky book recommendations. We'll see. So I'm just getting ready for that. But that's what's going on. That's my update. Hello. Good afternoon. It is Saturday. It's currently 2:10 and I have decided to do a bit of a timer challenge. This isn't going to get a separate vlog. I'm not stopping and starting every time I'm not reading. I have just paused the timer for the time being because it has just gone on a little bit while we've been talking too long. Me and Jade are on sprints with patrons. So I wanted to come on and give you a little bit of an update, but I'm filming this timer challenge for TikTok instead. So if you wanted to know the time, I'm currently 18 hours 46 minutes in, and I have just finished my first book of the day, which is the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. I did tell you this was going to be the next book that I'm going into, and I have just finished this one. This was quite fast paced, but what I will say is that it didn't quite live up to the Pumpkin Spice Cafe, which this is the second in the Dream Harbour series. Books by the Pumpkin Spice Cafe being the first one. And this one didn't quite live up to that. We are following Hazel and Noah. Hazel works in the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore and Noah is a fisherman. And he's had a crush on Hazel since he came to town. Huge crush on Hazel. But Hazel has started finding these little tidbits of, you know, suggestions or like little adventure things in books within the store, and she decides to start following them. She's, you know, about to turn 30 and she's feeling like she wasted her 20s and she's just been a little bit boring, and you know, there's nothing wrong with life just continuing on as it does and you being happy with that, you know, absolutely nothing wrong with that. But she thinks that there's a problem with it. She thinks she's too boring, and she's decided to take these little, what do they call them, clues. She decides to take these clues and roll with it, and essentially makes a little bit of a adventure out of it, and she asks Noah to help her along with it. She's no idea who's leaving these clues behind, but there appears to be one every couple of days in a book, and she then starts to spend way more time with Noah, and a relationship builds between them. I think what happened in this is that this felt insta-lovey. I didn't... Maybe it's been too long since I read the Pumpkin Spice Cafe that I felt like there wasn't an introduction to Hazel and Noah before we were just thrown into this. Maybe had I reread the Pumpkin Spice Cafe that I would have picked up on that a little bit more. Not only that, but I feel like there was a huge lack of communication between these two as well. You know, there's always been that rumour that Noah is a little bit of a player. He does tours and stuff on his boat for fishing and things like that, and he'll get like hen parties and things like that, and there's always the rumour mill around Dream Harbour that he will sleep with tourists only. He's, you know, had a good time with a entire hen do before, things like that. And she's taken this and got carried away with it. So she is interested in Noah. She doesn't think that Noah's interested in her, which is hilarious because he likes her more than she likes him. And she one day mentions to him, you know, oh, I hear you only sleep with tourists, and I hear that you once had an entire hen do that you were entertaining, and you're not really a relationship guy, blah 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 blah. And he, instead of correcting her and being like, dude, like, I literally really like you, what do you mean? It's not true. He kind of like brushes it off and laughs it off a little bit and plays along with it a little bit, but doesn't correct her. And it bothers me that neither of them, it takes right until the very end for both of these people to tell the other that they like them, because he's convinced that she's not interested in a relationship. Or she's only said that because she doesn't think that he's the type of person to settle down, and also that he's not interested in her. So miscommunication to the max. The general gist of the rest of it though, I don't know, I feel like it was rushed. I feel like it was a little bit insta-lovey, and then the miscommunication really bothered me, and I just wasn't super invested in this relationship, and it makes me sad. It does. It was really nice to see Jeannie and Logan again though, I will say that, and it was nice to hang out with them a little bit more again, but this one just didn't work for me the way the second one did, and I'm really sad about it. Maybe in future I will reread the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and then reread this one and see if it's better, but it just didn't work for me, unfortunately. I did have a good time-ish. It just didn't hit the same as Pumpkin Spice Cafe, so it's gotten 3 stars. It is what it is, and I am going to go on to Shadowgast by Thomas Taylor, which is the 3rd book in this series, and it does follow Herbie Lemon and Violet Palmer. They live in Erie-on-Sea, and in the first one Herbie Lemon works at the Lost and Found in the hotel at Erie-on-Sea, and Violet, I think, has lost her parents, if I remember correctly. I think that's what's going on, so he says, yeah, I'll help you out. In this one, on the eve of Ghastly Night, a hypnotic stage magician turns up on Erie-on-Sea and makes an unexpected claim on Herbie. Violet's guardian, the owner of the Erie Book Dispensary, vanishes into thin air, and others soon follow. Are these events connected? Herbie and Violet are determined to find out, but surrounded by so much shadow and illusion, will they uncover the truth? Sounds interesting. So yeah, it's about time I got to this, honestly, because it's been fucking ages since I read an Erie-on-Sea mystery, so I really need to get to it. So this is what I'm going to go into next. Good morning. It is Sunday. Honestly, yesterday felt like Monday and today feels like Tuesday. I don't... so confused at my times. It's 8:30 and I have 11 hours and 48 minutes left on this clock. I've been listening to some of my book this morning. I did finish another book yesterday and started another one. And I have edited this vlog up until this point. There, it is clip, 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 back to back. They're all relatively long clips. I do apologise, it is what it is. This week hasn't fully gone to plan like I hoped, and I am about to kind of throw it off kilter a little bit with what I'm picking up next. So I did finish Shadowgast by Thomas Taylor, which is book 3 in the Ariane Sea series. I had a good time with this. I gave it 3 stars. It's been a while since I've been in this world and since I've been with these characters, so it was really nice to go back to them. And I give it 4 stars. Did I just say 3? 4 stars. I gave it 4 stars. It was nice to be back with these characters and in this world, and I had a really good time, and I'm excited to continue on. Murderous is the last one as far as I'm concerned. So I've just got 2 left, Festigrim and Murderous. I might try and finish this series by the end of the year and get it wrapped up, because I feel like that will be a good idea. So 4 stars for Shadowgast. Done and dusted. And then yesterday I was on and on about what to move on to next. So I was going to do Reckless by Lauren Roberts, but I kind of feel like it would be a good idea to wait till Fearless comes out, because I think that's the last in the series and it's not coming out till maybe April next year. And I feel like if I read Reckless now, I'm going to have to reread the whole lot before Fearless comes out. So I feel like it's best for me to wait with that, personally, for my own sanity. I can't remember if Fearless is the last one or not, but I feel like it's best for me to do that. So then I was looking at maybe Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, but again, I'm just in one of these really weird, bizarre moods. So I've decided, what I really want to do is pick up my TBR, my actual TBR, the books that Andy started, you know, Andy picked for me, and make a start on my actual TBR, because these books I did put on my TBR, but I just really want to get into my actual TBR, start picking up the books that Andy put on my TBR for me. So I did decide to pick up Postmortem by Patricia Cornwell, which is the book that he's been bothering me about since September started. Have you started Postmortem yet? Have you started Postmortem yet? So now I have, and I'm currently 140 pages in. There's a serial killer on the loose in Richmond, Virginia, and I think we've just had our 3 women have died, brutalized and strangled in their own bedrooms. There is no pattern. The killer appears to strike at random, but always early on Saturday mornings. So when Dr. K. Scarpetta, chief medical officer, is awakened at 2:33 a.m, she knows the news is bad. There's a 4th victim, and she fears now for those that will follow unless she can dig up forensic evidence to aid the police. But not everyone is pleased to see a woman in this powerful job. Some may even want to ruin her career and reputation. So far, we've been introduced to Dr. K. Scarpetta, and we've had the 4th victim, and she is actually looking after her niece. So it turns out that she had this trip planned with her niece. Her niece is like 10 years old, and she's having to spend a lot of time now away from her niece, which is a shame. And we do kind of get that side to her. So we are getting the, you know, not just the medical examiner side of her, we're getting the humane side of her as well, normal side of her. This goes into a lot of detail about exactly what it is that she's going to do next as far as investigation side of things is concerned. And I've watched a lot of like CSI, which I think this has inspired. I've watched a lot of programs like that, so I don't really need the full details about what exactly we're going to do next. I feel like, although it is quite fast to get through, I do feel like it's kind of dragging the book down a little bit. But in general, I am enjoying it, and I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen next, and I am having a good time. I am, however, going to dip in and out of this. This is going to be my audiobook for the day, but I'm going to dip in and out of it with this physical read that I actually really do want to try and get back to and see if I can get finished before release day, which is on the 10th, which is Lucy Undying by Kirsten White. I know, I am also sick to death of seeing this in my reading vlogs as much as you are. I am not quite halfway through, I'm 199 pages in, and I would just love to get this done before it comes out on the 10th so that I can do a full review for it. Do I think that I could get this finished today? Not really. However, if I could properly like sit down and dedicate a few hours to it, maybe I could make a decent dent in it. And I feel like if I can dip in and out of this and then post-mortem as well, I feel like maybe I could make some really good progress in this and finish post-mortem. With any luck, maybe finish this, but I don't know. We'll have to see. So I think that's what I'm going to do. The rest of my day is going to be dedicated to both of these books. When I finish this, if I've still got some time and I'm still looking for an audiobook, I will go back to an audiobook that I'm partway through for a different video and just try and make progress on that. I think that's what's going to happen. So these will be the last 2 books for this vlog, essentially. I've thrown myself off kilter again halfway through the video, but honestly, I just really wanted to make progress on my actual TBR and also finish this fucking book because I'm sick to death of seeing a bookmark halfway through it. I was just going to try and finish this on Tuesday via audiobook when it comes out, but it turns out that I'm actually taking the car to the garage on Tuesday, so I'm going to be working, so I won't have time to do that, and I would like to review it on release day. So that's my plan. We'll see whether or not I actually manage to make that progress or not, but we'll see what happens. So this is my plan for the rest of the day. Let's fucking go. Hello team, I am here to wrap this reading vlog up. I have a question for everybody. Why is it when I try and do a cute bun I end up looking like Miss Trunchbull, but everyone else looks really cute? Why can't I do my hair? Look like Miss Trunchbull. Anyway, whatever. I'm just gonna have to put up with bald Steph for the day. Well, for this clip anyway. I'm here to wrap this reading vlog up so I can get it edited and get it up for you. I managed to finish 5 books this week. I don't think I did too bad. I didn't complete any series though, which is fine. It is what it is. I mostly did continuation stations and actually started a new series, one that I'm probably not going to continue, but it was a book that was on my actual TBR for the week. I think this is the thing. I think because Andy's picked my TBR for September, he put 5 books on my TBR. If you missed it, I'll leave a link to it in the description box down below and up here. But he picked 5 books for my TBR for the month of September. I also have some dedicated reads for buddy reads and book club reads, and then I've got a load of arcs that I want to get through, and I would like to mood read as well. So I'm kind of finding that as the week went on, all I wanted to do was pick up the books on my TBR, my required reading, if you like. So let's run through very quickly what I did end up reading. I read Clan Cornfield volume 3, Clan Cornfield 3, The Church of Friendo, which I gave 3 stars, little disappointed. Then I did read A Murderous Relation by Deanna Raybone, which I gave 4.5 stars, 5 stars on Goodreads. I love this series, it's so good. I read The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore, which I gave 3.5 stars, I think it was. I just didn't enjoy this as much as Pumpkin Spice Cafe. I'm really hoping the Christmas tree one will pick up again, but I don't know, we'll see. Then I did finish Shadowgast by Thomas Taylor, which I gave 4 stars. I really enjoyed being back with these characters and I had a very good time with it. So I'm glad that I did pick this one up, and I will try and aim to finish this series by the end of the year. I've only got 2 books left with Festagrim and Mermedusa, so it shouldn't take me too long. But yeah, managed to finish this one 4 stars. And then I did read yesterday Post-Mortem by Patricia Cornwell, which is one of the books that Andy put on my TBR. It's his favourite book, I think, of all time. It's one of his favourite books anyway, and he's very happy I've now read it. It gave it 4 stars. It was good. This is a little bit like a detective thriller, but instead of a detective, you're actually following Dr. Kay Scarpetta, who is chief medical officer. So if you're not into your detective thrillers, this might be like a nice one for you if you don't like the detective side of things, but you're interested in the crime side of things regardless. This was interesting. It was about a serial killer who was brutalising women, and a fourth victim had come in at the point that we jump into this book, and it's just following Dr. K Scarpetta to try and solve this crime. And it was good. Think like an episode of Criminal Minds or CSI, something like that. It's like that, essentially. I wasn't sure. We were literally at the last chapter and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to find out who the killer is in this, because it's a series. And I thought, shit, am I going to have to read the next book to find out who the killer was? I didn't. It all came together in the end. But yeah, 4 stars. It was good. Will I continue on with the series? Probably not. But I'm glad I've read it now, so you can stop mithering me about it. So those are the books that I did read. I did mention, I think yesterday, that I was going to continue on with Lucy Undying. I did for an hour, but I didn't get too much further in all honesty. I went from page 199 to page 231, and I have come to the conclusion, I think, I can't decide, there's a couple of things that could be happening here. So every time I pick this book up, I start nodding off. Now, I don't know if this is a case of I'm just actually genuinely really tired and that's why I'm nodding off, but I didn't have a problem with, I actually finished another book this week, a whole other book in the background that I'm reading for a different vlog, and that was an arc, and I physically read that and I had no problems with nodding off when I was picking that up. I could read like 100 pages at a time and I was fine. Just this book, and I'm not sure whether it's, I think I'm at a point now where I don't even know if I'm enjoying this. I think I'm having a good time, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't know if I'm having a good time or not. You know, when you're not sure and you're just like, I just keep picking this up because I'm determined to finish it, but I actually don't know if I'm enjoying myself or not. That's the situation I'm in with this book. My hair's just unraveled itself. How fucking dare you? That's the situation I'm in with this book. I don't know if I'm enjoying myself or not. I don't really know what's happening with the story to be able to make that decision fully, I don't think. So I am confused by it, and I think what I'm going to do, it actually comes out for release date on the 10th, which for me is tomorrow. For you guys was yesterday, if you're watching this the day this video goes up. So I think what I'm going to do is at some point this week just listen to the audiobook and finish the book off and make a decision that way. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I didn't finish Lucy Undying. I made 30 pages of progress and that was it. So yeah, I also got halfway through 2 other books in the background of this vlog as well that I'm also reading for different videos. So I'm not going to tell you about those, but I did manage to finish another book in the background on top of these 5 and also get halfway through 2 more. So, you know. This is what happens when I do weekly vlogs, but I'm doing bigger projects in the background, and this is why sometimes it doesn't work out to do that. It is what it is. I'll make it work. So yeah, I did all right. I continued the majority of these series and then I started a new one, but it is what it is. I hope you have enjoyed this vlog. It seemed to me, I've edited this up until a certain point, but it's a very, for me anyway, personally, I like to have like b-roll in vlogs, and I like to put b-roll in my vlogs, and for some reason I haven't got any, I haven't got much, if any at all, in this vlog, and I'm wondering what's happened. I don't know why that's happened. So I don't know if for next week I might try and do like a trying to romanticize my life a little bit and get into a little bit more trying to force myself to remember to do b-roll and stuff. I know some people don't like it. I quite like it. Breaks the vlog up a little bit rather than it being back to back to back clips. But yeah, anyway, I hope you had a good week. Chat to me in the comments down below. Did you take part in the final book support group? There will be one more round for the year of 2024 before we get into 2025's rounds. Don't panic, it's not the final round ever, a final book support group just for the year. But yeah, I am gonna go and get this video edited. Thank you again to the sponsor of this video, who are serious readers. I truly appreciate it. Chat to me in the comments down below. I hope you have enjoyed, and I will see you in whatever comes next. Bye for now.